You're the answer, son. You're the answer to are we alone in the universe?
Hey guys, I'm Dylan Sprayberry, and I had such a fun time playing young Clark Kent in Man of Steel. And I got to do some really killer stunts. But you know, when you're in such a big action movie, you still have a lot of questions. Like, how fast did the Black Zero travel? What exactly is a Phantom Zone? Will I be back for the sequel? Luckily, we have the visual effects supervisor with us today, the epic DJ. It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, Dylan.
So my first question is Krypton. In this opening scene, you basically blow up everything. There's an epic battle, and then Krypton just pretty much self-destructs. Did you have like some kind of blow-up button you had to hit to make that happen?
Yes, it's... Don't hit that button. It seems like a blow-up button, but it's actually a large team of people down at Wedded Digital in New Zealand. It's a little different than the usual story of how Krypton blows up, which is basically Krypton's sun is a red giant star, and it's kind of eating up all the planets. But in this version, it's the Kryptonians who are responsible for messing up the planet, trying to make a new energy source at the core. We wanted it to blow up, but have some kind of neat design after the blow-up. It's more about the aftermath, and that's what you see, is you see the planet starting to implode, core gets superheated, and then it blows up, but then everything stays right where it is. And in the middle, there's a pulsating neutron star that's just kind of glowing at the center, and that's what gives it that little ghostly light. And that's what Zod and his guys see when they come out of the Phantom Zone and realize they are where Krypton was, but it's gone.
The Kryptonian ships, they're epic. What I want to know is the scout ship that Clark finds under the ice in that whole army sequence. How'd you come up with how it was going to look and how it was going to function?
That's different from the other Kryptonian ships in that it was designed on Krypton in the height of their space exploration days. So it's a little more elegant, it's a little more ornamental. It can almost look like a cathedral when you stare up at it in the ice cave. It's very strange that way, and it's strange and beautiful that way, I think. But still, all the Kryptonian ships are based on sea creatures or crustaceans.
Right, yeah. It looks like a lobster or something like that to me.
It does, or a tennis shoe.
Or a tennis shoe.
Yeah, yeah. I've always thought that, and I want one. But anyway, it's cool. You know, it's one of my favorite ships. It's large. It's a really huge ship. That's why it doubles as the Fortress of Solitude, and I think that's a good way to introduce the fortress in the new story.
Okay, so my next question is, on Krypton, a lot of things are different. They don't have, you know, computer screens, TVs, cell phones. Why is that? Like, what's the difference?
Well, on Krypton, the display technology is more tactile. It's like iron filings. You know, when you play with iron filings and a magnet, it moves them around. It's the same kind of thing, only we figure they're suspended in a fluid, and it's kind of like a metal fluid. Zack called it liquid geo. So the screens that the robots have this magnetic field in them that allows them to shape the metal fluid, you know, into whatever sculpted detail needs to be in there. We can look at all the examples right here. At the beginning of the movie, it's the baby in the womb. Later on in the movie, in the scout ship, Jor-El's talking about the history of Krypton and telling Clark all about where he comes from. That's a very stylized version of that, but it's a big version of that. It takes up the whole room. And then later, there's an even bigger version of that when Superman fights the World Engine in the Indian Ocean. The defense technology on the World Engine comes from the liquid geo idea, and it forms tentacles and can try to grab him and do whatever it needs to do to try to destroy him and keep working.
When you look at the armor, you can tell that it's kind of medieval. Was that an inspiration for you guys, like the medieval times of armor and things like that?
Yeah, on Krypton, the armor, it's made out of some kind of bone-like material. You can tell by all the markings, it's supposed to be really elegant stuff. The idea was that it's been in the families for years, and we always thought that the armor was kind of like the medieval films where the guys just live in it.
My other question is Zod's Earth armor. It's a little bit different than what he was wearing at Krypton. Why is that?
Let's take a look here. The Earth armor is actually not from Earth, it's from Kryptonian outposts. It's more metallic finish, you know, not the bone finish. It's more environment suit. It's kind of cobbled together from, you know, other existing outposts, but that's what they're comfortable with, and that's what they need to survive.
These Kryptonian weapons, my question is, it looks a lot like the armor that they used for Jor-El and a lot of the Kryptonians. Is that what you guys had in mind?
Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, a lot of the Kryptonian technology comes from organic things that you just found on the planet, right? So we wanted the guns to be similar to the armor. You know, a lot of the same materials that make up, say, the scout ship or the armor or anything like that, that's what goes into the gun. And it shoots a ball of plasma. So it's got kind of a projectile gel or something, you know, and when it hits you, it spreads out and kind of dissolves into you. It's pretty nasty, actually.
Yeah.
So look here, we've got some tests that the Weta guys did of the digital design of the weapons and also how they fire and what they fire.
First off, what is the Phantom Zone? And then second, how does the Phantom Zone generator necessarily work?
The Phantom Zone in Superman lore is this like bleak, terrible dimension that Zod and his guys get exiled to, right? It's not a nice place, but it's I guess it's a place that exists alongside our own universe. We just can't ever perceive it. And the generator is the thing that opens up the doorway that allows you to go into that. What we see in the movie is after Zod gets sentenced, he goes up into this ship called the Black Zero, and then the Black Zero goes up, and you see this triangular arrangement of generation points that kind of breaks apart, and that is kind of the doorway. And as the Black Zero finishes going in, the generator closes. Now, when the planet blows up, the generator itself gets damaged, and the doorway becomes open long enough for them to slip out. They all wake up, and they look out, and they see all the debris. And they're very sad about that, but at the same time, they realize they're adrift. They need to do something, so they use the generator to shunt themselves across the galaxy to find Earth.
Thank you very much, DJ.
bet,
It's good
Dylan.
to see you. I gotta get out of here.
All right.
You might want to step back.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit more.